Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Long Dark. And we'll go ahead and continue our adventure here. Now, I I recorded this entire episode, had a great time playing through this, and then when I went to edit it, I realized none of my audio commentary actually recorded, which is terrible because I was having a great time. This was a really fun episode. So obviously after the video's done, I'm going back now and adding some audio on here. Okay, well, we begin our morning, of course, in the lighthouse. And first thing I want to do is get out of the lighthouse. We've been here for like, what, 3 days or something now. And so the previous night we organized everything. We got our books, of course, we got tools here. So at this point, I'm trying to decide what I want to take. So one thing I was wondering is if you have the quality tools and the cheaper tools, do you really need the cheaper tools, or do the quality tools do the same thing? I don't know. I really don't know if we need both of those or not. So here I'm checking out the weight in the backpack. We're still overweight, obviously. I'm trying to decide. I think I'm trying to remember what all I was talking about at this point, but I'm trying to decide what to drop. Also, our food situation was really bad. I know that. That is one concern I have going forward with this game, is figuring out how we're going to get some food. And I think the best thing we can do at this point, we've pretty much looted all the areas and that I've come across anyway. And so we're going to run out of food. So we need to find either animals that have already been killed by the wolf or bear, or we're going to have to figure out a way to kill some animals like the rabbits or deer. Now, deer preferably, because rabbits just don't give you a whole lot of calories. They're very lean. And in fact, you know, in real life, in the real world, there are people who have had lots of rabbits in a survival situation and they still starve to death because rabbits are just such a lean meat with very little calories, very little fat. Just kind of an interesting fact. Okay, so I'm looking outside now, checking out the view, and we see the ship in the distance. We're going to head down these rocks. And at this point, I was wondering if I have been to that bridge area yet that we just saw. The road goes across a little bridge. So I want to kind of make my way over there and see if we've gone in underneath that bridge area. I realized pretty quickly this is a kind of a dead end back in this area. So I think we double back or something like that. If I remember, there might be some caves up in those rocks up above on the right, up above the road. So at some point I'd like to get up there, maybe get some coal or whatnot. Very, very windy. I love the sound effects for this game. It's just, you can just feel the cold just through the sound effects. Love it. Okay, I'm a little weary coming around these corners because I know we've had bad experiences with the wolves. And coming around blind corners like that really kind of freaks me out. Can't remember what I was doing here, but apparently we're hydrating. We were low on water there. As you can see, I got my flare out. I've learned my lesson. The pistol, unless you're a really good shot with the pistol and can kill in one shot, and it's got to be a headshot, you're going to get attacked by wolves. So I've learned now the flare is the way to go. If we see a wolf, we can light a flare or a torch, but the torch could blow out in the wind. Okay, we come across this truck here. First time looting this. It's kind of a nice find. Go inside, and in this recent update they made it so you could get things from the visors overhead. So I'm going to try to remember to check these. As you can see here, we found something. A scrawled message. Memento with a survival hint. Please look for your brother and his friends. I don't know what to do. Okay, so, and I think this reveals a section on the map. Memento hint. We got a cave and another cave. So that's kind of what I was talking about before. There's some caves to explore up above the road in this region. And if nothing else, we could get some coal, and often there's some other loot in there. Maybe we could find a rifle. That would be really, really useful. Because a pistol just doesn't do anything against bears, really, in this game. So we really need a rifle to defend ourselves and to take down stuff. Okay, we find a unfortunate soul here. This guy. Oh yeah, we find a pry bar. That was huge. We found a pry bar. I think that's our first pry bar. So we come across this poor soul who's driven his truck off the road down into the water. We're grateful for the lantern fuel. I think that's what we got, lantern fuel and a pry bar, which will be huge. There are some places we've already looted that had locked areas that we needed the pry bar to get into, and now we can actually get into that. So at this point I'm looking for cattails as a source of food. Cattails are one of the best foods in this game because they don't weigh very much and they don't go bad. And you don't have to cook them, you can eat them anytime. Here's a birch sapling, but we need a hatchet. We gotta find the hatchet to harvest that, and then those are useful for later on. If we can make a bow and arrows, we can use that. I decide here to go ahead and break down this branch for firewood. Firewood's so huge in this game. We just have to stay warm, and you're always either trying to repair your clothing to stay warm or harvesting firewood and getting coal. Also for water, you know, just to drink water, you gotta have a fire to purify the water if you don't have those purification tablets. But you still gotta melt the snow, right? Here we got the crows. Those crows are gonna circle anytime we have a dead body. I can't remember if we got feathers from that dead body or not, but that's one thing you always want to check for when you come across those bodies are feathers. And I think you need 3 feathers to make 1 arrow. So it's always good to just keep harvesting sticks, as you see here, and feathers. Sticks and feathers. So up here is the road. I figure we could wander along the road towards the production facility there, manufacturing, and open up the locked lockers we missed because we didn't have the pry bar. But as I'm heading up to the road, I notice something kind of freaky here. We have got a bear in the area. At some point I noticed the bear. I don't think I noticed it yet. But if you see way down on the road there, we have got ourselves a bear heading straight for us. And if he decides to come after us, we have no way really of defending ourselves. I don't think they're afraid of flares, and our pistol's not gonna hurt him. So we decide to just give him plenty of room, walk away, crouch down, try to stay hidden. Fortunately, I don't have any stinky, smelly stuff on me to attract him. Like that fish we caught the other day, I think that attracted wolves. So we're just going to try to stay away from this bear. And we'll make our way on the ice back over to the factory to try to check out some of these locked lockers. And I know, you know, at this point in the video, I also realized I am so bad at noticing loot on the first time around. And I'm just positive I've probably missed so much loot when we first looked through here. Oh yeah, I also wanted to try to find the hidden cache. So when I was here before remember we found the key and a note telling us where the hidden cache was, but I wandered around for a long time, just never found it. I want to search again and find it this time. We come across these boats. I don't think I've ever searched these the first time we came through here. So I want to take my time, look through these. Often there are hidden items actually in the boats. So as you can see here, we find a candy bar, which is huge. We really are low on food right now. Granola bar. I think we find something in here. Beef jerky. Okay. Beef jerky is really good in this game because I don't think it, even if the condition goes really low, as far all the YouTubers I've seen, people who make videos on this, they've never gotten sick that I can remember from eating expired beef jerky. So that's really helpful. I'm a little more brave at eating expired beef jerky. But that candy bar also, I think that was in good condition. We may have already checked this cairn. I can't remember. These cairns are posted throughout the game, and they commemorate the people who sponsored the game while it was in development. So it's kind of cool to come across those and see who helped to support the game and pay for its development. And what an amazing game. I'm so glad they made this game. And the cool thing about The Long Dark is it has such a great community. The people who are who enjoy this game, they're really kind of like a family almost. You know, we support each other and we don't tear each other down. It's just fun to see other content creators supporting and giving a shout out to each other. And I really like that about this game. Okay, so at this point I'm trying to figure out where the hidden cache is. I've realized that I'm in the correct area at this point. Before I was looking over by those rusty big canisters, and that was on the wrong side of the building. So I think now I'm on the correct side of the building, and I'm looking for the hidden cache around in these boxes. You can see here I'm pulling up the map, and I'm trying to find more clues about where this hidden container is. Memento cache, that's what we're looking for. Memento cache with the key. We have the key, we just need to find the lockbox. So I think it might be this box here. Walk over, and I think we realize pretty quick it's not a box, it's just a piece of wood or something. I am kind of freaking out because I hear the wolves, so I want to make sure we have something to scare them away. I've pulled out my torch here because there's not a lot of wind here. We're sheltered. I'm trying to decide if the wind is strong enough to blow out the torch or not if I light it. But at the same time, I'm looking for this hidden cache. It's going to be a lockbox of some kind. Train car looks like a good prospect, and right there is where I spot it, in the back of the train car. There appears to be some kind of box. So we got to walk around the back side to access this lockbox. And at this point, I'm just excited to see what's in here. So we found the box. Here it is. Get up on this little snowbank, and we got the key, so we're going to unlock it. I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing there, so those are my own matches. I realized in a minute, oh, okay, those are mine. Those are not in the lockbox, so we gotta still search the box. Inside here, we find I think two or three marine flares, some flare shells for the signal gun, the emergency flare gun, which we don't have yet. We don't have the flare gun, but that flare gun is huge in this game. The flare gun, actually, I believe it will kill a bear over time, and it will scare away the bear. I don't know if it will scare a moose or not. Here I see the footprints of a wolf, so I decide, you know, it's probably time to get inside the building and get away from these wolves. I love this building. I'm really glad we spawned here because it's just got such a cool atmosphere inside this building. I decide that we are going to, when we do looting again for the second time in this building, we really need the lantern out. it makes such a big difference to have a second light source while you're looting to kind of help things pop out. So here I'm going to refuel our lantern, top it up. We have tons of fuel, lots and lots of lantern fuel. So we're going to fill this up, turn it on, and get to looting this shed again, or whatever this is, processing plant. Oh yeah, it just makes such a huge difference. And immediately you can see we've got some items we missed the first time around. We've got some scrap wood and newspaper, more scrap wood. That's great. Okay, so now I'm just taking my time and trying to find everything.
I'm not going to be able to carry this.
I'm already really heavy in this game, got tons of loot. And that's a huge part of this game is, in addition to surviving, of course, staying hydrated, staying fed, staying warm. You're constantly just juggling all of your loot, deciding what to keep, what to get rid of. Staying on the move, finding more loot, deciding what to keep, what to get rid of, you know, and so on. So at some point I just have to get rid of stuff, decide what I'm keeping, and
I think I can use this.
You know, I'm gonna have to leave this area eventually, hopefully soon. I'd like to leave Desolation Point and get exploring other parts of this map. This is a really big game. I heard somebody say this map, the entire map of the Long Dark, is bigger than the Breath of the Wild Zelda game map, which is really cool. Of course, here it just boggles my mind that in real life we have animals that are that big. You know, whales with rib cages. It's just incredible. And to think that people harvested that, you know, drug it up on land and just have this big animal they're just butchering. It's just crazy. I love the atmosphere in here. Little sparkles in the light, the cold, the snow, or whatever. Little frosty flakes that are in the air. I love the view of that. And the developers of this game, they did a really good job hiding loot everywhere. That's why we're taking our time looking in these crevices. Now, there is a chance there's loot in these crates, but it's just such a big job to break them down. So we don't mess with that. And back here, I think that's where we saw the safe. Of course, we've already looted the safe. I think that's where we got our head wrap or some kind of ear warmer or something that's really good in this game. So now I'm on the lookout. I don't think we have the hacksaw yet, so I'm really hoping we find a hacksaw at some point. Also hoping we find a heavy hammer, which would be good for crafting more items. Good, we found some cloth right there. You saw that? Heavy hammer we need for the forge. And of course we found the forge. There's one forge in that ship, the shipwreck, the Riken. So if we have scrap metal, if we have a heavy hammer, then we can start making things like the hatchet. Fortunately, we found the knife, so we don't have to make our own knife. We're very fortunate to have found a knife which we can use for harvesting cloth and for butchering animals, getting animal skins and meat and stuff like that.
Perfect.
And I think we can even use the knife to open canned food. I can't remember if that's the case or not. So we don't have, as far as I know, we don't have a can opener yet. So when we open canned food, I think we can use our knife but it does take the condition down on the knife. I don't know if there's ever anything on these bulletin boards worth checking out, but I do like looking at them. Okay, here we find our first lockers. Alright, more clothing.
Well, this stuff will come in handy.
And that piece of clothing we just found was actually amazing. When we go to actually put it on later, I can't believe how warm that white wool sweater is. Here's a door. I don't think we've gone out yet, so we'll come back to that. I don't think we've explored out there yet. Just trying to double check everything because I know I've missed stuff. This filing cabinet, I must have forgot the top drawer there to check that the first time. This is nice. We do have a bed in here, and this catches my eye. I don't think I knew this was even a thing. You could come back here and explore up above the processing area. So I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. And at this point, I'm just trying to figure out if there's even anything worth coming up here for. And it's kind of cool. They made this little walkway up here, kind of like a roof or something. And way at the back here, there's actually a dead person. Some poor, unfortunate soul just made his last stand. Got his pistol, a flare, emergency stim.
This will come in handy.
So you very carefully take the gun away from this guy. Another flare, that's great. And I wonder, was he hiding from wolves? Why would he come up here? It makes, there's some kind of story that we don't know about that this guy took with him to the grave. He was hiding from something up here. The matches, really, really good find, and of course, the starter fluid. The matches are such a big deal in this game. And on this difficulty setting, we shouldn't have a problem with running out of matches. They keep us pretty well stocked. I can see here it's getting late. It's already, sun's going down, moon's coming up. It's getting to be nighttime. I'm looking in the bottom corner there at our tiredness meter. So we're not super tired. We're almost a quarter of the way left. So it'd be a good idea to try to wear ourselves out before we go to sleep. And in this game, it's really helpful to do things during the daylight. Because otherwise you're burning fuel of some kind, either a fire or a torch or our lantern here. You're always burning fuel for light if it's nighttime. Except if there's an aurora. If that's kind of cool. If there's an aurora, it's kind of magical. It makes all the lights in the game come on, like inside this factory, the lights overhead will come on and kind of flicker and stuff while there's an aurora going on. But we haven't experienced the aurora yet. So here we're gonna go. I've never been outside through that door. So I'm just looking around. Some kind of weird noise. And we've got ourselves a blizzard. Blizzards are good and bad. They're bad because they put wear and tear on your clothing, and then you also get wet. Your clothes will get wet over time. But they are good because I don't think any wolves or bears come out in a blizzard. So it's a safe time to travel, but it also is very cold. Visibility is very, very poor, and you get extra wear and tear on your clothing. So just having a look around, you can see the visibility is very poor, and we are getting cold fast. Super cold. So we're going to head back inside. Air temperature is negative 22 degrees Celsius, wind chill negative 20. It feels like negative 29 degrees Celsius out here. Super cold. Super cold. So we're going to head back inside. And inside, we're actually warming up again, which is great. Love the sound effects. It'd be really fun to sleep in a safe place through a blizzard, I think. It's really cozy, protected feeling. Okay, we're moving so slowly here. I know we're overweight. We've got tons of loot we gotta sort out, figure out. So right now I'm debating whether to light a fire for the night, and I decide against it. Here you can see I'm checking out books. So books are a good way to level up your skills. The problem with books is you need light to read them, so which unfortunately we don't have much light. We'd have to light a fire or use a lantern fuel at night if we wanted to read this. It's just not worth it. So we're either going to wait for an Aurora or wait for daytime to read our books and level up our skills in that way. Here I'm just realizing how much loot we have that we could drop and get rid of. We got this gun we picked up was very low quality, so we could get rid of that. Got lots of cleaning kits, 3 cleaning kits, 2 jerry cans full of fuel. Got lots of fuel. Those shells, at some point we could remake those into bullets if we had the right equipment and materials. Oh, we have 6 cans. We don't need that many cans. There's our knife, 77%. There's our burn barrel. So at this point, I think I'm trying to decide what we can do in the dark, because we still have time before we want to go to sleep. So we're going to sharpen our knife, which should improve the condition. So yeah, I brought it up to 80%, which is good. Back up to 80% on the hunting knife. Now we're back up to 83%. So that's nice. We want to take care of that. Also, if we get in a struggle with a wolf, we can use the knife if we need to try to scare off the wolf. It's really lucky we have a bedroll. We haven't had to use it much yet, but if we go to a cave or something, we'll be so glad we've got this bedroll. Again, I just love the sound effects in this game, just very atmospheric. Here we've got a gunsmithing book, which would help us level up our guns. Not just gunsmithing, but I think also our shooting ability. This book helps us with getting fires started, our competency there. And I think we have a sewing book at some point as well. Yeah, over there's our sewing book. Okay, so I want to drop this gun, but I decide first I want to empty the rifle or the pistol rounds in there. Sorry, the revolver rounds before I drop it, which is what I just did there. So we got lots of items we can drop. Tons of cans. We really only need 2 cans. And at some point we'll find a pot, and if we find the pot, that's even better. We don't have to use these cans anymore. So here's where I'm wondering about the tools. Do we really need quality tools and the simple tools? I don't think so. I'll have to do some research on that. So I dropped the simple tools. I like to keep some stones on hand, so I don't drop those, but I may have to. Whetstones are really good. I don't want to drop those. We don't need that much fuel. We got so much fuel, so I think I drop one of these. Yeah. There's our beef jerky. There's our clothing. Stems are really helpful, so I want to collect as many of those as we can. Here I make a big mistake. I click on the wrong thing. I click use, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't mean to click that. So that was a waste. I'll have to harvest more old man's beard in the future so we can have that antiseptic, but it's just a waste. I clicked on that. Okay, I got lots of books. Books are heavy. I decided to just keep 2 books. Matches weigh almost nothing, so we hang on to matches. Probably drop some of these sticks. Oh, guess not. So you can see here our clothing is a little bit wet from being outside. So now we've got a little pile of goods we've just dropped. So I think I'd take a minute to try to organize these, make it look nice. Kind of fun to have a bowling ball. Knock these cans over. So again, inventory management is just a big part of this game. So I don't know if we'll be coming back this way, but it's good just to leave your stuff, spread out like that. You can see what you need, what you got. So I'm wondering at this point if I can work on
That
my
guy who drank his
clothing
own
in the
pee doesn't seem
dark.
so crazy right now.
These wool socks are good. Cotton socks are not very good, but wool socks are worth keeping. Those work boots are pretty good. So I'm just checking the quality and the condition of all of these items, trying to decide what to keep, what to get rid of. So we're going to go through and harvest a bunch of clothing into rags or cloth. And cloth is really helpful, useful in this game, not just for repairing items like other clothing items, but also you can build shelters with cloth. If you have enough cloth, if you're out in the snowstorm, you can actually make a snow shelter. If you have, I think it takes like something like six cloth to make a snow shelter. But we always need cloth for repairing our clothing items. So I think this is where I figure out that sweater I picked up, the white one there, is really good. It produces, it provides 1.4 degrees of warmth, which is huge. It's just such a nice sweater. So we go ahead and put that on. And of course here I'm just trying to decide which clothing to keep. Looks like that's one of the better items. So we end up, I think we keep the gray one. And it is getting late. You can see as I'm harvesting, it's almost midnight, or maybe it's past midnight. No, it looks like it's approaching midnight. So it's getting late.
I need to find a place to rest.
And the blizzard, sounds like the blizzard let up, which is nice. But I don't think we're going to be traveling in this at night. So what do you think? Do you prefer games that have commentary, or do you just like the ambient sound effects? What do you think? It's kind of nice to have a break, you know, and be able to hear the sounds in the background. But on the other hand, I do like, when I'm watching people play, I do like to know what they're thinking and what they're, what they're anticipating, what they're trying to decide, and what their game plan is and all that. So one thing I'm learning as I go through this process is it's kind of hard to just keep saying what you're thinking about the whole time. It's a skill, and it's going to take some practice, but for me to just be able to talk the whole time and tell you what I'm thinking, it takes some practice. Okay, so at this point, I think we're ready to go to sleep. I realize it's getting quite late. You can see we're tired. We were able to improve our weight situation. And if you're watching the video and you've made it this far, please let me know. Leave a comment, give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. I like to know you know, what people enjoy, or if they're having a good time, if they like it or not. So let me know. Give me a thumbs up, or if you have time, leave a little comment. I'd appreciate it. Okay, so we're just about ready for sleep here. We need to hydrate up. In order to make it through the night without taking damage, we need to eat lots of food. At least I like to get a quarter of our food meter filled up. That's usually good enough to get you through the night. So I'm just assessing our situation. So here's, you can see we're at 42% on this beef jerky condition. It's old. It's there's a good risk of food poisoning, but like I said, beef jerky, I don't think I've ever seen anybody get food poisoning from eating old beef jerky. The dog food looks pretty sketchy at 30% there. This candy bar looks okay. Peaches, those will definitely make us sick if we ate those. So we're past the quarter mark for our food. You can see we should be fine now. So I drink water and get ready for bed. So here I decide to only sleep for 5 hours because we don't need to regain health. We're already pretty healthy, and we just want to make it until daylight. So that's one hazard with this game is your sleep patterns can get off. If you're not careful, you want to stay awake during the daylight hours and sleep at night as much as possible. So here I'm just going to sleep 5 hours, and we've just made it to morning. So this is actually a really good situation. Our health bar is completely full. We're warm. Now you can see I've only got halfway on my tiredness scale. I'm still kind of tired, so that is going to be one drawback there. I'm going to have to, in the next episode, I'm going to have to take it easy. And here, here's the big region map. So you can see we are in Desolation Point, and I want to get out of Desolation Point. It's a good idea to make it to the middle of the map. That way you're able to branch out more easily, and you can make the center of your map kind of but here in Desolation Point, we're like so far away from everything else. So I'd really like to move in the next few episodes. We're going to try to figure out how to get out of here. Of your loot headquarters, where you dump all of your items you're not needing at the moment. Find our way, hopefully towards the center of the map. We'll loot along the way, of course. Try to find some good stuff. And just stay alive. But that's going to be our goal in the next few episodes. Try to make it to the middle of the map. And just keep surviving, staying warm, staying fed. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.